Let's talk about raining cats and dogs, and what does that have to do with growing and supersizing your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Pajama Grandma, in my kitty cat pajamas today, which is probably why I picked the idiom out of my amazing idiom book, Dictionary of Idioms, 600 phrases, expressions, and sayings. It's actually by Marvin Turbin, and it's really funny. I found this book when I was packing up to move from my old house, which we are rehabbing and fixing up now, which is amazing. What a big job it is. It's kind of fun. It looks like, and it reminds me when we first built the house 20 years ago. We used to walk through the walls and call it ghosting, and we had so much fun building the house. And it's almost as fun remodeling it and fixing it up and updating it as we prepare to sell it. But I found this little Dictionary of Idioms book, and I started thinking about growing my business and how I go about growing my businesses, and the importance of being open-minded and flexible and being able to think and see things from different perspectives. And that's why I decided to start talking about what do these different idioms or expressions that impact all of us actually mean, and what do they mean to our business. And maybe if I haven't even ever heard of it, the wrong thing, what does and how does that affect the people that I'm dealing with in my businesses, and I'm helping other people grow their businesses? What does that mean, and how does that impact us? Well, today, raining cats and dogs, that's kind of a stretch for how do we use raining cats and dogs to supersize and grow our business. The expression's been around since the mid-1700s at least. There's a little bit of debate about where it actually came from. There's several theories on where the expression could have come from. It could be from Norse mythology, where dogs were associated with wind and cats were associated with rain, or in the 17th and 18th century when roads and streets and plumbing and runoff and things weren't very well planned out or engineered. Oftentimes when it would be torrential rains, there'd be flooding associated with it. And a lot of times cats and dogs would be drowned in the flooding. So when people came back outside after the storms, they would see cats and dogs laying in the streets as if they had fallen with the rain. Now, it's kind of a grim thing to see, I suppose. It's kind of like seeing deers that are smashed on the side of the headway or roadkill. It's sort of disturbing, but we know that it happens. So what does raining cats and dogs have to do with our businesses? Well, it has to do with a couple of things. When I first looked at and think about this expression, maybe it means something different to you. I would love to have you share that in the comments below. But the things that came to mind to me were, we need to be prepared for whatever happens, good or bad. Things happen as we're building and growing our businesses. Good things happen, bad things happen. And we need to be flexible with our being prepared, but we need to have a plan. I always have contingency plans. What happens if my computer breaks down, for example, now? What happens if we actually had a flood? When I was doing my manufacturing businesses and working for other manufacturing companies in corporate America, we always had contingency plans in case of natural disasters, floods, tornadoes, depending on where we were, hurricanes if you're in Florida right now, or depending on where you live, acts of nature, acts of God or acts of nature, whatever you call them. You got to have a plan in place for what would happen if part of your factory was destroyed. What would happen if, okay, here's a good one for most people nowadays with social media. What happens to you if Facebook goes down? What happens to you if another social media platform that you use to share your business goes down? Do you have a contingency plan? Do you have a backup plan for that? And if you don't, I'm going to really suggest right now that you get one, because I think Facebook's been down a couple of times this year. And I know people that have absolutely panicked because of it, because all of their business flow is dependent on someone else's platform, someone else's business. I think it's a good rule of thumb to never put all of your eggs in one basket, meaning never put your livelihood in someone else's basket. Just a good rule of thumb. So be prepared for good and bad. Know that this too shall pass. Everything that happens, good times and bad times, are always coming and going. And it's how we respond to them that really matters. And you want to know that no matter what's happening, it's not going to last forever. No rainstorm has lasted forever. Okay, I'm not going to go to the biblical times, but you know what I mean. For the most part, a storm will come, a storm will hit, a storm will be over, and this too shall pass. We'll be able to weather any storm or handle whatever happens to our businesses. And that's not that hard to do, to have a plan in place or to have possibilities, and know that there's always infinite possibilities and infinite ways to solve any problem, as long as we're open-minded enough to look for alternate solutions. So often when we're in a tough spot, when we're in a stressful situation, we think that we only have like one or two alternatives, and it's usually all or nothing. It's usually my way or the highway, and that seldom works, and it's shutting us off from all the other possibilities. So be open-minded and flexible, and be a little prepared. Don't just let the world and rainstorms happen to you. Have some plans in place, or know that you always have choices, and that you'll always figure it out, because we always figure everything out. You're alive, you're listening to me right now. So far you've been 100% successful in living your life every day, and you figured it out. You've had challenges in every aspect of your life. I guarantee it. If you're over a year old, you've had challenges in most areas and aspects of your life that you have overcome successfully. And the other thing, and I just thought of this today as I was reading the definition of where they thought this might come from, this saying. By seeing cats and dogs laying in the streets and then assuming that they fell from the sky like the rain, or the way things appear and the results that we see oftentimes don't tell the real story. Think about, you see someone in their business and growing their business, and we should never compare ourselves to others, although it's human nature to do a little bit of that. We want to resist that and say, yep, but I don't know their whole story. I don't know their journey. And we need to remember this when we see results of anyone and anything, any other business, any other person. We don't know even the tip of the iceberg of their story. All we're seeing is one snapshot in time that looks like these incredible results. And it doesn't tell the story of how they got there. And what's really important is the journey of getting somewhere, the journey of getting a result, the journey of achieving something. How did that come about? What had to happen? What transpired, and what had to happen with respect to transformation to get that business or that person to that point? Because there is no overnight success. Nobody wakes up and is born a billion. Well, they might be born a billionaire, but that's not a good example, I guess. But nobody is an overnight success. We always need to go and find out, especially if we want to model someone and learn from them and duplicate their results. We have to understand what really mattered and what really happened to get that result, not just what we're seeing on the surface. So always dig deeper and understand, and always assume and know that just because you see a result, you definitely don't know the whole story. And just because somebody tells you pieces of their story, even in books where people share everything and share all, they're still not telling you the whole story. So there's pieces that are missing. There's mindset pieces that are missing. There's steps that get missed along the way, because almost nobody documents everything exactly as it happened. I document my journey every day in a video, and I still miss stuff because I'm just doing a quick 5 or 10 minute summary of what I'm working on as I'm growing my business. So even as I try to share the whole story, know that it's not possible to share the whole story. It's not possible to share all of my experiences and all of my thinking and everything that's gone into what I'm doing and what I'm creating to get the results that I'm getting. So just keep that in mind as you're seeing other people and comparing yourself to other people. So raining cats and dogs, I guess we can get a lot out of an expression that just sounds like it's raining hard outside. All right, go out, make it an amazing day. If I can help you supersize and grow your business in any way, go ahead and hit me up in the messages below. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Take care. Bye. Meow.